It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and piercer talk about some of the more common questions that those that collect tattoos and piercings may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Well, here we are, season 3, episode number 1.
Yeah.
Here with the regular crew, the new set, fun stuff, new equipment, new mics.
Sweet. Feels cozy. I hope.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of the new digs.
It's a lot of time and effort into it this past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Our table and our backdrop and all the painting you guys did.
I mean, it wasn't all work. We, you have to, like when you get an iron pan, a new one, you have to kind of season it up, right? You can't just cook an incredible meal in a new iron pan without it having some history to it.
Yeah.
So same thing with our studio. We didn't want it just to be this little fake in the corner, look like you're hanging out in a cozy little room with your friends without having those real memories there. Yeah. So, there was 3, 4 4 a.m. parties,
It's definitely broken in already. It's a hangout spot for us.
I mean,
here.
but we still have to go to work, 5 days out of 7, but really it's a 7-day-a-week job. It's a lifestyle, it's not just a 9 to 5 for us.
And I think most people don't understand this, but we turn the sign on that says open 5 days a week.
Yeah, right.
The reality is you guys were here yesterday tattooing.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of times I come in and edit on days I don't have on, or I edit at home.
Yep.
So it's not something that's like, you leave at 8 and that's it.
Uh-huh.
Even when we close at 8, most of the time we don't get out of here till 10, 11 o'clock on standard because we're working on other stuff, art or
just hanging
that
out
and we're
chatting about our day.
That's the time that we have as kind of artists to talk about what we did that day, talk about if we had questions like, man, I got to this part and I was a little bit, what do you think of that?
Yep.
And that's freaking valuable time.
Plus there are days where I don't see any of you the entire day.
Very, very often.
Or I see one of you and it's like little pieces.
in passing.
Anyway, so we should probably figure out what we're going to talk about today. We thought it'd be fun to do something about like extreme modifications, what our feelings are on that. And when I'm talking about that is like facial or tattoos that are heavily tattooed or minorly tattooed and more extreme kind of odd piercings.
It's kind of a thing, man.
It's kind of become a trend, especially younger kids getting face tattoos for their first tattoo.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the, you see a lot of the, I don't know what you call them, internet rappers or independent rappers and hip hop people. And it's almost like nobody pays attention to them unless they do have something inscribed across their face.
Like it gives them some kind of weird street cred.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And man, we would kind of shudder before when a kid would come in, a young person, and want something on their hand, or even back when I started, their forearm was like a kind of a, hey, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal then.
But now it seems that you're having to talk these younger people out of, or not talk them out of it, but just make sure they have they've thought about all angles
they're aware
of it. And so, it's escalating quickly.
Yeah. And as I always say, with any piercing, even the experimental weird stuff, it's more about you having enough knowledge and understanding of what you're doing to make an educated decision.
Yeah. And that's why we're here, really, right?
Yeah. Watch shows like this, kind of talk to people and research what if you know somebody that has a bunch of facial tattoos, talk to them about their experiences.
Yeah.
Because they know firsthand.
Yep.
But I thought we might look at a few of these and kind of make reactions on some of them.
Yeah. Pull her up there, Jess.
Pull her up there, Jesse.
Yeah. There's a lot of buttons.
Here.
There he is.
Okay.
What happened to his teeth? Did he eat Skittles?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this is the thing, I guess. If I was going to get my face done, if I was going to get something on my face, I would really think about it.
I
mean, it would be the most thought about tattoo I'd ever done. And a lot of that I would have ever gotten. And a lot of times it seems like he's got the little character on his cheek there. I wouldn't want to do that anywhere, let alone a face. Yeah. I mean, it's from, okay, here's the other side of it, but it's on his face, so people are going to be close to it, so they might it might be more legible that way, but it doesn't do anything aesthetically for his face, right? Like it doesn't. The 6'9" above his brow is kind of neat, just as a, you know, if it was just that and his teeth weren't skiddly, but you know, hey, that's
personal.
That's his thing.
That's whatever.
And it goes with his hair. But I mean, the 6'9" above his eye kind of looks neat there with his eyebrow. And
I don't know. I would have probably maybe gone a little more towards the face, like tilted it. It doesn't seem like it matches his brow.
Yeah, well, there's that bottom curve on the 6 where it kind of catches that, and just the darkness of his eyebrow, you know, helps balance out that big black 6'9". Yeah. If he was, you know, very fair skinned, you know, very light eyebrow, blah blah blah, it would look like that tattoo was wearing him. But with his hair and his, he's a little darker complected. He's got those nice dark eyebrows. I'm just saying, aesthetically, at least it's done well. It's nice. It's clean. But almost every time you see one of these guys like Post Malone and stuff,
we get some
he's got a couple that are nice, decent done, but the way the way they're placed and stuff like that just seems so. It looks like a notebook in high school.
Well, what it looks like
between it going from a classy placement before it start becoming a little bit on that, you know, not, I guess it's not even a fine line. It's a gray area before it starts becoming unclassy. Like, all right, you know, some of his will look really good, but some of them I'm like,
But when you put them all together.
Yes,
you know, it looks
fine. You're right.
Jumbled up and just it looks like a notebook. You know, there can be a lot of cool little doodles on a notebook, but overall that notebook looks like a bunch of doodles. Yeah. You know,
what it always puts me in the mind of is the guy that passed out at the party first.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody drew on it. And everybody got out the marker, the Sharpie, and did like the dicks on the forehead, and all that stuff.
Right.
That's what it reminds me of.
Never pass out first at the party.
As you can see in the other photo, that's the one where supposedly he got paid by Doritos to get that on there. I don't.
That's not real, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done any research on it, but there's tons of rumors about it that he got paid a phenomenal amount.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's like, who's your sponsor? He's like freaking right there, dude.
It's been around since.
And then when he signs up for Coca-Cola and Pepsi, he's going to get Pepsi up here.
I probably shouldn't have put that Fig Newton sign on the windshield, but I do love Fig Newtons.
I do love Fig Newtons.
There was a guy dating back as early as the early 2000s that was doing that, though. I remember reading an article about a guy who was getting porn sites and stuff tattooed on him because it was what it was paid for a lot of the things he did.
Right. So, yeah, we're selling like advertising space or whatever.
Yep.
But see, the problem is you have no negotiation value at that point in time, because once you have that tattoo there,
they own
unless you have it or removed.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to go back and go, I need you to pay me the next payment? They're just going to go, you already got a tattoo.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Go work for Lay's? They ain't going to hire your ass.
Yeah, you're already done.
Who's this? Is that Tom? Who's that?
Tom McDonald.
I can't really.
I can't see that well.
He's like that. He doesn't have anything that looks good on his face.
You want to hit program version? I'm sorry. Hit the
and it'll blow up
and
we can see it a little better. No, full screen, baby.
Yeah, we're getting there. Just in case everybody's wondering, we are using an ATEM and it's new, so not everybody. There he
is. Yeah, he's got little money signs like on his eyelids, which but they're so tiny, and then when his lids are half down, it looks, I don't know. I just, to me, it's an art. It's aesthetic. It's supposed to look, just look nice on your, as a whole to me. And again, it comes to that notebooky kind of feel.
And identifiable from a distance. And that just looks like he's got a bunch of scribbles all over him.
Yeah.
I know that sounds very
It's definitely a look
critical.
that it goes with a genre or a type of crowd of people that, we can have different face tattoos and look different. I don't know. You're right. It looks like scribbles, but that's the look you're going for. And it does look good that way when you're, if that's what you're intended for.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, I'd have people come in and want the tattoo to look like it was done in prison or at their home. They, they wanted it's weird. And I think it's because, they see all these famous people and they're like, I want it to look kind of messed up.
Remember when the whole
definitely.
Russian prison
prison
tattoo thing was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that style. And you're like, you want me to make it look bad?
I know. I was like, you intentionally want me to do a bad job?
But
I don't understand the hog.
You don't. You remember you're not on air.
Yeah, the hog under the. I don't know. Maybe it stands for something.
Yeah,
it's probably an acronym or something. But
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Okay,
Who was
let's go to another one.
Yeah, who was I?
Yeah, this guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Now see,
I'm on the fence here.
Yeah.
Because it's cool, but I mean,
I thought it was tire tracks when we talked
It's
about
bombs.
it earlier, but
it's bombs. Okay, it looked like tire tracks to me.
yeah, like a
earlier.
boot print.
Yeah.
Now this is to my point. If you took everything off his face but those bombs, and maybe kept the black like on his cheek, his ear, or whatever, it looked dope.
Yeah.
But it gets so
it's too busy.
messed up
with everything
with all the other stuff. That's why I'm saying if I was going to get my head or face or something done, I would put a lot of thought into that.
Which kind of dates back to our last episode where we were talking about background. It's like,
Right.
I don't know how you tie what he has there together to make it not be like, this is the important thing. This is the important.
And he's got contradicting, flow. He's got those lines coming off his eyes, but then he's got this other pattern laying over the top of that. So it kind of fights against itself. Then he's got these lines coming up off his cheek too, kind of following his cheekbone, which is cool. I mean, that's cool placement. It kind of looks like there's an angle that comes down behind his cheek in front of his ear and then kind of cuts up, kind of, separates his eye from his cheek. Very neat. But then he walks all over that, or kind of contradicts all that with that pattern going that way, which that doesn't say it could never work, but I don't think that works.
I will say kudos to the artist who did it for you. That stencil right in that dip of the eye there and making everything line up.
I know.
Get up. I'm like, man, okay, well, that's a tough area right there.
Yeah, it really is,
It's a
too.
very technical tattoo.
To get it, That's beautiful.
See,
That's beautiful.
It's very
I
aesthetically pleasing.
think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, and I've always, I get asked all the time, being bald and everything, like, why don't you have your head done? You ever going to get your head done? And my honest answer is, I would, but almost, I'd say out of 100 face or head tattoos I see, I might only think one or two really looks cool.
Right.
A lot of times it looks like the tattoo is wearing the person. They're walking around with something that they're going to wash off at the end of the day. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I get
that. Beautiful.
And
It's beautiful.
I like the way that they cut off this area so it looks like he's almost looking through a set of mass, and it fits the natural flow of the body.
Right.
I wish I should have probably found the other photos of this because it's just the one side, and it even fits into the neck that he's doing there. And they are kind of two different styles, but it still works together.
Yeah, but that black on white and the balance of the black and white, it works so nice. I always said if I was, if I had FU money, I'd get my face done, and if I did, it would be similar to something in that style. But it's hard to use, because that's like a Mayoran or Islander kind of style, and he probably is somewhere in his bloodline or has ancestors that are. I'm not. But it almost looks funny on white guys.
It's very aesthetically pleasing though. That kind of makes you almost jealous of
it. But I don't want to step on that culture and everything else just because I think it looks pretty and I'm a white guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it can look funny. I don't know. Just personal preference, I guess.
And when I've seen it done on people where they've adapted some of the patterns or style or what's in the patterns to reflect their own ethnic backgrounds, like using shamrocks or whatever, more Celtic or more like I knew a guy that had cornstalks tattooed all the way around, like rows of that, and it's because he was a farmer. But this is an example of something thought out.
Right.
This isn't something they went into it. I want George here and Frank here and this number here, and this is well thought out.
Very nice.
This is not interesting.
This.
And it's a mug shot, I'm guessing.
Yeah. This looks like someone who had this incredible idea, but they didn't really have the cell phone to call a good shop, or knew a guy down the street who said he could do it for maybe something she had lying around the house.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
Because the stitching even around the mouth doesn't look right.
Nothing.
And the two eyepieces are not even.
I'm going to go out on a limb as somebody who used to body paint. I think this one's actually probably painted. I doubt. If it's a mugshot and her hair color, I bet she's going to jail for a drunken Halloween night.
No way.
No way.
Nope. That is tattooed.
It would have more shine, I think, with paint.
And
you can put matte coats on it easily. I've done a lot of body painting. It works just fine. And you can be uneven and not care as the artist because it washes off.
That looks like tattoo ink on her nose. That looks freaking tattooed.
Yeah, maybe.
That magenta kind of color around her eyes and stuff, kind of looks funny. But
it looks very pale.
But that web on her forehead and stuff, That's freaking tattooed, man.
I can paint
And
that.
it's not even
I know you
her
can.
hairline. Or the centering of her nose.
Yeah, maybe, and we're looking at it on a relatively small monitor from across the room, but
And I'm sure that, there wasn't really a lot of thought put into taking a mugshot.
yeah, you would think if she's in a mugshot too, she'd probably had a rough night, and that would be smeared or smudged, or it looks like someone who didn't really know what they were doing tried to do that tattoo.
And could you find that one? It's actually a good example of a female who's tracked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah. I mean, it's, there's some some lettering in there, but I mean, it looks like it fits into the body.
And again, it's, dark hair, black hair. It makes that tattoo just a little more subtle, especially with her eyebrow there. If she was very, very fair, blonde hair, and had that black thing above her eyebrow that was kind of blonde, it would wear her. So, it's... I guess, you can't just take someone's facial tattoo, pop it on you, and it's going to look the same. It's, that looks great, but I just have this feeling. Oh, yeah, and she's got the other side of her face kind of done, too. Yeah. But, I think that looks kind of cool, and it flows, looks aesthetically pleasing, especially with that high neck. It really frames her face in. Looks like she's got that kind of collar, up real nice and tight. But, yeah, I think that looks really pretty.
Yeah, so I don't know. So she's kind of stuck with that color, though, for hair.
Yeah, well, in a way, yeah.
Adita Von Teese. I had no idea who that is. Okay. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
so she can.
I guess we're putting her on the air.
Yeah, let's. Well, if you got a question, if you're talking, who does she look like?
Dita Von Teese.
Dita Von Teese.
Yeah.
She was married to Marilyn Manson. She did all the burlesque.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she looks a little like her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so let's go. Let's move on to another.
Let's see. What about this guy? Your computer's being slow, DaVo.
Why is it being slow?
I don't know.
Because it's your computer.
Costs
Maybe
way
it
too
hasn't
much
had
money.
breakfast.
I love the cross. I think that cross is really cool. The fear and stuff under his eye. I don't know.
Necessarily like the under the eye ones. There's very few. I guess there's a few I've seen that I do like, but they're just a word under the eye. I don't know if I find them as appealing aesthetically most of the time. There's some that are going to get me wrong on that for sure.
Yeah, it's a weird.
But I'm not sure I've found a way to. I've found my like for it quite yet.
Yeah.
There's many of my. I am starting to like a lot more. There's the change in the shape and how they make them flow.
It would almost be cooler kind of almost to follow that cheekbone with the word instead of just smashing it directly under your eye. It almost kind of makes your eye look funny.
Yeah.
It looks like you have three eyes. It kind of
flow on the bottom. Like
if it came kind of down like from the bottom of that cross and kind of swept around the cheekbone a bit. I think would look really neat. But yeah, that looks just a little, hey man, get it as close to my eye so it looks like it fucking hurt,
So what do you think he's thinking about that? Yeah, that should have been positioned better.
I doubt it.
It seems like he's in deep thought right there.
Oh, in the picture, he's probably like, ow, it still hurts.
It still freaking hurts. He took 25 pictures before he got that one.
Right?
And they're all on Instagram.
I say
choose what filter. Anyway.
Keep the cross.
Here's the original.
Yeah. Well, kind of.
I think you've told that story.
Yeah. Look back.
I have a picture of Tone, or I would have put it up.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's in the book. He's a picture in that of Clown's book with me tattooing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I've looked for the interview a couple times to see if where he talked about that, but it never popped up.
And here's the thing about this: it is executed very well. If you look at the spirals,
it's beautiful.
Not easy to do.
The only thing that throws me off with this tattoo is the spacing. It's a little high above the eyebrow compared to underneath.
Yep.
I would have kind of
brought it down a little.
Yeah, I would have brought it down just a little bit closer to his eyebrow. And that the way it comes up from the brow and joins in and comes down right into the curve of his eye. It's done really cool that way. But I would have had another piece maybe coming up from the bottom of the eye, coming a little bit closer to the brow just to even out. It looks like I just always want to scooch that down
just a little bit.
Or even kind of swing it the right side of it down just a little so it I don't know. It looks just barely misplaced. But that's the thing about a human body. He's growing, he's changing, he's getting older, things are sagging, things are adjusting. So something like that, I guess, is always just depends on the angle you look at it, how how he's holding his face, what his expression is, but very well done.
And one thing we should probably talk about with tattoos is just the facial tattoos is the technical side of it, of how they wear and whether or not they last, because that's always been kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because you do shed a lot more skin cells on your face than you do in other parts of your body.
That's what I was, kind of my point on 6ix9ine or whatever, getting that little portrait of the guy from that movie on his cheek. It's like, that's not going to age well anywhere, but that's going to,
age even worse
on your face.
Yep.
And then when it does look like crap, it's on your face.
Later on, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's freaking common these days. But it's, removal is getting better.
Uh-huh.
So, they're in 20 years, if we make it that far, there's probably going to be a in-out one-shot service to remove tattoos.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say go get something on your face, because that's probably true. I think that's probably a bit of a gamble, but
definitely something that you want to do some research.
Yeah.
So when going into design, and I'm talking as a piercer, so this is going to be great. When you're going into design, is bolder going to work better on the face than something that's more delicate and detailed?
Depends on what it is.
usually, I've seen really beautiful, delicate stuff done on like women's faces. It looks really pretty and all that. And women are usually pretty diligent, taking care of their skin, taking care of their face, and all that stuff. So I think they have a better chance of making it look pretty into their older age, more so than a man, who might have facial hair, so that's going to obstruct just, the daily life or whatever, depending on their lifestyle.
And this is the great
Omi.
Mm-hmm. And he's probably, for those that don't know, he had this done in the 1800s, the early part of the 20th century, and he was a sideshow performer. He filed his teeth, a bunch of others. I claimed he was from, wild whatever. And constantly had to have these redone throughout his entire life. And a lot of that came down to technique, but a lot of it came down to just, how much
age
is.
Yeah, age and technique and inks and
his lifestyle.
And his lifestyle and the way it was applied and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
It all comes into it. And, it's also, I know it's a very high statistic, but I think like 80-something% of the people who heavily tattoo their face commit suicide.
Can't be 80.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a large percentage.
Up there.
It's up around 80%.
But that should drop the further.
It should be dropping, but back
the more
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
get tattooed, the lower that's going to be. But
I guess
that
that
was definitely for to get it done as a reason for cry out for attention or
Right.
whatever. Not for yourself, but for the rest of the world, whatever. It marked you as different, and those people. Yeah, for whatever reason, different. He's not wrong with a lot of that.
Or does it take a certain person that's kind of already to that stage to tattoo their face because they're kind of like, screw it anyway?
Hand in hand, probably.
I have a face tattoo.
Yeah.
You can't see it with my bandana on, but I have a big blue diamond on
Yeah.
side of my temple.
And why?
I thought it was aesthetically pleasing. I was a tattoo artist at the time in the mid-2000s when we were traveling around doing a lot of conventions and whatnot. We, as tattoo artists, being around a bunch of tattoo artists, we're always pushing each other like, oh, well, I did this. What would you do? Well, I'll do it here plus this.
And that's probably how a lot of these people end up with it because they hang out with a person or two that have them and they're like, well, they're a normal person. They have a job. They seem fine. Why don't I get one maybe?
And also because you're seeing increasing celebrities getting it done. You should
It's more mainstream.
As an average person, they're not paying for that.
No.
And
obviously,
it's probably a situation where, I'll do a tattoo for you for free, but it's got to be on your face.
Yeah.
Because I want everybody to see it. And I want everybody, when they come in, they say, what are you doing? Oh, that did that thing. Technical difficulties.
Well, I know
that did that thing.
It shuts off after 30 minutes, and I can't figure out how to shut it. There's no setting to shut it off. Okay, so that's a cut. So go to one of the other cuts. See what I'm saying? So that when I edit it, where was I? Oh, I was talking about, when you're a celebrity, you know, it's okay to have a facial tattoo.
Yeah, you've kind of got things
And
ironed out.
Yeah.
The artist is willing to do it for free because
Oh yeah.
they can put that in their book and go, yeah, you know, that tattoo Post Malone has, you know, the sort of crappy one.
It's advertisement, man.
I did that.
Back when I was tattooing the Slipknot guys heavily, I remember first time they went out and did a big tour thing and came back. Sid came in and I can't remember what he got. It was something. It was like a needle, like on a record player, you know, like the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he got it done like kind of down on his arm, and I don't know who did it, but it was
The
just
stylist.
It wasn't great, you know. It was just pretty, and it was exactly that. He's like, yeah, well, the guy said, you know, it was right by the thing, and he said he put it on me for. And I'm thinking, you know, and I always kind of wondered why a lot of the rock star type people and stuff, they didn't have really great work.
No.
Dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, there's always going to be that tattoo guy that says, hey man, I'll give you. And you know what? There might be a rock star, but there's still a person, you know, and they're going to be like, hell yeah, hook me up.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
So that is a thing that happens, whether it's a face, you know, their face or whatever. I don't know, but me, I'd be like, I am not going to tattoo your face.
No.
Nuh-uh. No way.
Nope.
Yeah, that's just putting yourself way out there. I don't think I would have done Satone's face if I'd have known that he was.
Well, you guys
I don't
had
know.
a long discussion. I remember having.
Yeah, but
that.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure when you tattoo faces. I've done a lot
Right.
of faces, dude, and it's an extreme amount of stress.
yeah,
I'm not sure what.
Is that a
celebrity this
feather?
is. No, it's a sneaker.
baby shoe.
Oh, it's a.
Or
Oh, it's a
sneaker.
baby shoe. I just figured it was a sneaker.
It
That's why I
looks-
thought maybe the guy was.
Doesn't look like a baby shoe. It looks like a sneaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you full screen that?
Yeah.
It's a
Just, yeah.
sneaker.
Hanging
sneaker.
from like a little triangle. at the
Some
top there.
people
Like you
are
throw
just-
shoes over the power line, you know. just
Some
say
people
it's
are just
some
nuts
neighborhood.
about sneakers,
That's
man.
a well done tattoo
Sneakerheads.
for being that big. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
easy to read for being that small, but
And that delicately done, yeah. That's
that looks good.
really nice.
It actually
done
looks
nice.
better than the more simplistic stars he has.
Exactly.
And the little heart.
And the thing about fine line that I heard way back, I think Jack Rudy maybe said it or one of those guys, but he goes, you were talking to him about fine line, and he said you can always make a thin line thicker.
Yeah.
You can never make a thick line thinner.
No.
Never.
So in that, you know, so you could argue, hey man, that's going to need touched up. That's not going to blah, blah, blah. Okay. That may be true. Maybe in 10, 15, 20 years, he does need to go in and have some, you know, some contrast put back into it.
Blown out.
But it won't be blown out. You know, it won't be a big, massive crap that you
Well,
can't
just
really do
fade
anything
right.
with.
The next artist comes through and just lightly brushes. Up the
Yeah,
dark
you go in there with a single or tight 3 and just start pushing in the contrast here and there, pops it back out, see in another 10, 15 years. But
Yep.
but it's all about the style you want too and what look you want. Some people kind of want that hardcore, been there a while, don't care kind of look to it, but that was done very well. And I would assume he really did his homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, at least for the artist, for sure.
Well, know him to go to that artist because you know that's not a typical tattoo you're going to get going into an whatever normal
You're
tattoo
looking
shop.
for somebody who's good at small, fine
That's
detail.
that's someone who really
I think he's pretty much covered.
is he.
Yeah.
I bet he's got a lot of beautiful stuff.
I know he's somebody famous, but I can't think of
Chris
it right.
Brown.
There's so many famous people now. With the internet, it's like everybody's famous
Well,
for
it's
a minute.
like Danny Trejo, the famous Spanish actor with the girl.
Yeah.
on his face. He's like he takes his daughters and his kids and like everybody he knows, he takes down to Freddie Negrete.
Yeah.
down at Social Club with Mark Mahoney, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
an amazing tattoo shop. And Freddie's phenomenal. He's a godfather of a lot of fine line tattooing.
Yeah.
And so I just always think it's neat when you see stuff like that. And Danny's like, I love tattoos, but don't just go to anybody.
Yeah.
But, and he'll tell you that. He's like, I got some of this stuff when I was, young and in prison and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he did his research and like now he'll only take his people that he knows to these certain people, which is, really reprimandable.
Yeah.
know.
Very, very. I agree with that 100%.
Now we're
This
getting
person
into the
took it a little
experience.
further.
Yeah.
This guy reminds me of Enigma.
Yeah, kinda.
And-
Frick, the Enigma isn't that
No.
Not
altered.
quite. No, not quite.
And if I remember right, they also have their teeth filed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Implants, teeth files.
And they got a cheek piercing, which is possibly one of the worst piercings.
Yeah, you can just
in the
take
mouth.
that thing
Yeah, let's
off.
scoot that over
There
a
you
little
go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a complete altered. She also has some subdermal or
A
heat.
lot.
I'm not
of
sure if
subdermal.
We'll just say
They.
they have a lot of subdermal. That's what those bumps are.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on who did it. It depends on when it was done, but that could be either metal or silicone.
Yep.
Can you explain how that's done, DaVo?
Basically, you cut a pocket, or you take an incision, you cut in, then you separate the tissue. You basically
Make a
break loose
pocket.
all that and make a pocket, and then you insert a foreign object in there, and then you stitch it up. So, in other words, it is a medical procedure.
Yep.
It is not, and most practitioners that do this type of thing, they're not going to have any access to any type of anesthetic, or not anesthetic, but anesthesia legally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing to numb you, nothing to topical, no stuff.
Yeah, you're awake and just letting it happen. But
That's brutal.
That would if you said, "Hey, we're going to do a scarification, scalpel, skin removal piece on your arm, or we're going to do an implant," I'd be like, "Implant me first." I'll take the implant over the scarification and all that. But
Well, and you also got to keep in mind that they have had some issues with either hair loss or they've had it removed, because there's no way that they're that perfectly bald. And I can't imagine shaving that every day.
I bet a person like that had that hair removed, had it laser,
That's what I'm
removal.
saying.
Yeah, that'd be as a bald man, you do not want to be shaving over all those frickin' bumps.
Nope. I remember using when back in the day when I was younger in punk rock, using a razor on my plain good old fashioned head, ended up with a mohawk of scabs.
Right.
As far as the dermals, my question is how long they would last, and that was the original trend, that they would put them inside of piercings or inside tattoos. And that always seemed like a bad idea to me. It turned out to be a bad idea, especially when they were doing it on hands and arms and so
Places
forth,
that it wouldn't stay.
because it just totally destroyed the tattoo in the process.
Yep. Yeah, and that's eventually going to get ripped out of your arm, unless you never leave your house and you don't have use of your arms.
Maybe.
So this is taking things to a point where it is definitely impacting not just people interacting with you, but your daily life, how you're eating, what you can eat, how you sleep, everything.
Very true. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, it changes everything.
Yeah, how do you eat normally with your tongue split or the teeth?
Yeah.
And I'm sure this person has both. I'm sure the tongue is split. I mean,
My
come
teeth
on.
are normal and flat, and I bite my shit all the time. I can imagine what they go through.
Yeah.
But you also have to keep in mind that this person had this vision of what they aesthetically wanted and what they consider beauty, and they have a right to do that.
That's
Absolutely.
as long as they do it in a responsible way and do and educate themselves to the risk in advance. I don't have a problem with it as long as they can be healthy.
Yeah. Well, and even if they're not, they're not hurting me.
No.
Yeah, man, that's what makes them happy.
I don't
Go
want
for it.
them, pointing at something I'm doing, going, "Well, I don't like it, so you shouldn't be allowed to do it."
Exactly.
That doesn't. No, that's not how it works. Hopefully this person is happy, healthy, has a great life. I would assume they do.
Yeah.
But wow, I would really like to talk to that person.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so interesting to talk to that person and hang out with them.
When I have met people like this, they're usually kind of boring.
I know, yeah, they're just so
not very exciting.
meh.
I have a lot of cats.
So then you're like, "Oh, that's why you look like that."
Yes,
So there's
exactly.
something interesting. No,
How do you guys feel about the eyeball tattoos?
I think
It isn't really a tattoo.
It's an injection.
it's a procedure where there's a membrane over the white of your eye. It's like a protective membrane, and so they'll take they'll take a hypodermic needle and they'll go just under that little skin that's over the colored part of your eye, and it stops at your eye at the colored part at the iris. That's why you can still see, and it'll just kind of flood that in between with whatever color they squirt in there. And you can go blind. People have gone blind.
Yes.
No thanks.
On
It
that
can-
note, don't actually tattoo your eyeball because people have done that too before.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
bad,
misnomer,
bad,
is
bad,
it?
Yep.
bad.
Once you do that, it's
That's
over.
not
Once
the
you punch
same-
an eyeball, it's
Yeah.
done.
Coloring your eyeball and getting your eyeball tattooed are different things.
Yeah, I would not.
And there have been people who've tried to do it and they went blind doing it.
Did you find any of the pictures of the eyeball piercings when they were implanting?
Well,
you remember
they were-
that? They were
yeah,
cutting that same membrane and sliding like little hearts.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
Yeah, that's kind of gone through it's gone through the ringer of the internet and gone away.
Oh, thank God.
Well, the eyebrow or the eyelid piercing thing keeps coming back over and over again on the long list of bad ideas. The other thing I will say about this is, out of everything that this person has pierced, a majority of them are established piercings. They are piercings that are going to work. There isn't anything in there that's really going to heavily damage. It's heavily altered them. But for the most part, other than the cheap piercings that may leak out saliva, there's nothing there that is going to be
stable.
long-term and cause health issues.
All right, DaVo, here, I got one for you.
Okay.
What do you think of this?
This guy, I don't,
I don't see the purpose. So the rest of your life, when you eat like soup and cereal, you want it to like run out of your face or what?
Exactly. And I have.
I think he's got
I've seen-
plugs, like silicone plugs, and instead he pops in when he eats, maybe.
Oh, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've seen interviews with him where he talks about how his day-to-day life. This became a huge internet thing. This guy kind of became a star overnight because of this.
Yeah.
It's not practical.
No.
Not at all.
It's not, this goes back to this person has permanently changed how they live their life, because that piercing is stretched to a point where it is not going to recede and close again.
Nope. You're going to have to stitch it closed again.
Yeah, you'd have to have a medical procedure to have
Plastic
that
surgery.
closed. Yeah, with plastic surgery, which is always it's gonna. Yeah, that is so extreme. That is so extreme. The more I look at it,
boy.
And I would assume that's gonna like if he did wear that piece, that was kind of his main thing that he wore. I would think that would cause tooth decay and stuff with the, because your teeth are made to be in your mouth, covered with saliva, all that, and that's gonna get
When they
dry
out, it
and
causes tooth rot.
Yeah, because one of the things, if I remember correctly, and it's been a long time since this is like from, I don't know, this guy's been around, 10 years maybe?
Probably.
That he was having dry mouth issues.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, but-
And constantly having to rinse.
And for those of y'all who don't know, dry mouth is what happens to like meth heads when they have meth mouth. It's because they all the time because they're so fucking strung up and whatnot, and they
Yeah,
dry
it's
their
just
mouth out
hard
so
on your
much
teeth.
that their teeth dry rot.
on top of them dumping
Well, on
poison
top of the
and
poison and the
acid and
corrosive
shit
and all
on.
that. Yeah, but a
Yeah.
lot of it's from the
Man.
the dry mouth and
Yeah.
whatnot.
That is so rough to look at.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That
And he
is
also has
wild.
his nostrils stretched out, and I want to say, I can't remember.
Septum.
He's
septum.
he's got a
His top
piece.
lip.
Yeah, and a lip piercing.
Yeah, he's got a big plug that looks like goes through underneath.
Interestingly,
That would
his-
shove
his-
your teeth back,
His ears aren't stretched that much.
right? He's focusing on his face.
The
No, he's
easiest
got a
piercing
two.
to stretch, he didn't bother to do.
He's got like a 2 in his ear.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty big. but
Maybe
I mean,
maybe he did that so he had an excuse to, he's like, oh no, I can grow a full beard. It's just, I have to kind of trim it down to miss the piercing.
But yeah, there's a lot to consider if you even think about this.
Yeah.
Plus, there's no way that was stretched that large unless they really pushed it, which makes me wonder how healed it really is.
That or they just cut it
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they did.
sutured it, or maybe cauterized, scalpeled it,
And
maybe.
you are going through muscle tissue.
Yeah.
you're going through saliva ducts. There's a lot of nerve sensitivity in that area. There's a lot
He
of
could
things
have-
that you could have done wrong.
Yeah, he could have paralyzed his face. I
Oh, yeah, you
bet.
could have done all kinds of facial damage.
I wonder.
And ended up in the hospital.
Yep.
Plus, there's the other issue that if you don't have it positioned and you continue to stretch that, there's a possibility of tearing out the corner of his mouth, and then we're looking at real constructive surgery.
Yeah.
Like worse than what you would have if somebody had like cancer of the mouth.
Yeah, because that piece of jewelry looks like it's almost up to his cheekbone,
Yeah.
like where that would be
Yeah, it's
kind of
almost
resting
putting-
on his cheekbone almost.
You're rubbing between your cheek and your
Yeah.
gums come together.
I mean, he would, I had a Libre for a long time and stuff, and, every now and then it rubs just a little bit. Imagine the inside of that piercing, it's going to be rubbing right on your gum, you would think. That cannot be comfortable. I don't know.
And I would not think that movements, talk, speech, eating, anything would be comfortable because of the amount of pressure that's on the actual muscle. The interesting thing about it is he's capable of doing it.
Right.
Oh, look, they got a little plate.
Yeah.
This is not a new thing.
Nope.
But they
They've been
also
doing it in Africa
have the
forever.
colored eyes.
Eyes.
They're cat eyes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Well, they have the whites of their eyes tattooed black,
yeah.
and 2 stretched nostrils, and then the
Look at that
disc.
piercing right through the top
What
of
would
the
that
middle
be?
of the nose there.
What would that be called? Just a labrae?
It's basically it's plating. It's
Yeah,
what they used
plating.
Basically, it started out as a labrae, which means it was straight this way.
Right.
And then as they stretch it, it flattens. And there are a few African tribes that did do this. And then
Yeah.
you get the plates very, very large. They would also do the neck ringing,
Yep.
which would actually increase the length of their neck.
But if you're moving, it'll kill you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to do it over a slow period of
Yeah.
time. Because usually they would put the disc in when they reach, like every culture, when you reach puberty,
Then
and
you start ringing.
then you would start to put it in. That's why I've always been avid about, if you're stretching a piercing, you should do it the right way, not just jump and not be dermal punched 00 right off the bat.
right off the
Because
bat.
it used to be something that it showed your status in the tribe by how big the stretch was. And then she also has her, and I'm guessing that, to be honest with you, to get nostrils that big, stretched, you have to start out with dermaling or scalping. There's no way around it.
I imagine that would really help you breathe a lot better.
Yeah, but it
Really,
also-
but it's going to let in all kinds of debris and stuff that your nose is designed in a specific way to filter out, to where you've just completely bypassed all that. Like the guy who had his nose removed, had all the cartilage removed from his nose, so it's just the 2 holes leading into your brain. That's got to be the most uncomfortable, dry,
Sinus clogging all the
irritating,
time.
leaky thing.
That's
Imagine
why
the winter.
I usually, when I do see this, they're not wearing eyelets. They're wearing plugs because it helps seal it up a little bit. The other thing is, if you live in a climate like we do, where you have forced heat for half the year, it seems like, how drying that would be.
Yeah.
And how acceptable to sinus infections you would be.
Right.
And flu and all that fun
crazy.
stuff.
I would like to see her sneeze and
Oh,
and
God.
just plug her nostril holes and watch this stuff just shoot out the sides like a frickin' racer getting ready to drag race, like with the nos. It'd be like,
Lives in both of them.
holy crap!
And she, is that a rhino piercing she has too, I think?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of those. I will say this much about her in general, is with her facial structure and et cetera, that works.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, her,
It just looks good.
yeah, at least from that angle and the way the photo's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there just a way to pop us out of there so we can see the rest?
Actually, if you
Yeah. Yeah.
look how off center and not straight that cheek piercing is.
Well, it looks like
It's
she's had
really
it done
hanging
a couple
out.
times.
Yeah,
See
probably.
where
Sure.
further over.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are everybody. They are one of the worst piercings to heal out.
Oh, at a cheek?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Really?
generally
Because
try
you-
to talk
when you-
people out
A
of
lot
it.
of times you hit saliva ducts and it'll leak and all kinds of stuff.
And you take the jewelry out and close it up, and it still leaks.
Still leaks. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, it sounds silly, but man, it doesn't look comfortable at all. Especially the plugs on her upper lips there
Yeah.
seem a bit.
And so I often wonder with people like this, do they take that stuff out or do they wear it every day?
Yeah, they'd have to wear something in there every day.
The tattooing, the abstract tattooing, though, is pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, I like the way it goes over her nose like that.
Very tribal.
Yeah, that real scratchy, loose, style has. It seems like a lot of people get it on their face.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's I haven't done a ton of research on it, and I've never really been asked to do it. But again, if I'm doing something on my face, man.
Yeah.
But I think that looks better than like
Yeah.
a goofy.
Oh, it looks better than a
Go.
little miniature character that's going to look like crap when you turn 20.
Yeah.
She originally had freckles tattooed on her face,
Ah,
and then she tattooed over the freckles.
okay.
I like the freckles. Those,
I like freckles on.
me too. I think that looks cool. That and I have heard of people doing that. And that's kind of a thing now. They were selling kind of temporary freckle tattooy things for girls and stuff. That's kind of a thing. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of works. I wouldn't.
Okay.
It'd be hard to have it'd be hard to have a conversation with her, at least at first, because I'd be looking at her and not being able to look listen and really, it'd be distracting, I think.
Well, so when
for a while.
My eyes are up here.
Yeah.
My mouth where I'm talking's up here.
Right.
Oh, snack.
This guy is a world record holder, if I remember correctly.
The stinkiest face in the world.
Most facial piercings. Those look pretty healthy. When you see these multiple piercings, usually like this, they look gross. They look like they haven't been taken care of. There's usually tons of discharge around them. They look fresh, or they look like they've never healed or are in the process of rejection.
Yeah.
He seriously has some future dental issues.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. The eyebrow piercings, they look somewhat fresh because they should have put shorter barbells in at this point. I'm not sure what's going on with the ones above the bridge. And I was always taught not to pierce the eyebrow towards the center because there's a large nerve grouping there.
They're curved barbells. He's got one here and two here.
Okay. So
They
those are
just went down.
surface-to-surface
Yep,
piercings.
surface.
So that would be future rejection.
So what's up? I mean, did he think about, hey, how am I going to shave my mustache
I was just thinking
around
the same thing.
all of these piercings? Obviously not, because it just looks like BBs dumped in the grass.
Yeah. And they're not even.
Yeah, it looks...
The grouping's weird. The other thing you have to consider is that the amount of teeth damage. And it's just, he is pierced in areas that I would refuse to pierce you.
Yeah. Like around the cheeks? And
especially on the side of the mouth.
yeah, that seems like, again, the muscle and the nerve
tissue.
structure, that seems probably like a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, and there's no... I mean, basically, we don't go to some of these spots mainly because of the amount of contact it's going to have with your teeth and gums. It's going to be a bad idea.
And he's got them all.
Yeah. He's not got one. He's got like 18 of them. I highly doubt this person has this many piercings today.
Yeah. That's got to be terrible. I mean, and if you don't wash your piercings... and you have metallic jewelry like that, and most people, your body chemistry against that metal creates this sputum, stinky
What it
grossness.
is sebum. Sebum. It's the oil that your body produces not only to moisturize your skin, but it also lubricates your hair follicles, and it makes you waterproof. For some reason, it seems like, and there's a lot of theories about this, that it produces more of that inside piercings. So that's what that cream cheese looking substance that smells weird comes from. And there's usually some dead skin cells in there to add a little bit more flavor and taste and smell to it. Yeah, and they're really common on large diameter or large thick jewelry because there's more surface, so it collects more.
Right.
And usually a little bit of soap and water. Yeah, he's got to have a regimen to clean that off, or he just cleaned them all off for the photo.
Well, then he should have trimmed up his mustache a little better. Sorry, bro.
All right, DaVo, it's our favorite.
Okay. Oh, the
Yeah.
splitting.
Silac pit.
When I was searching for some of the photos for this, the thing I did is I searched for tongue splitting, and the first suggestion from Google was tongue splitting cost, which means there's a lot of people out there looking to get this done. It is by far one of the most painful and dangerous procedures that you can have done as far as body modification, short of actually removing limbs or all of that stuff, because we're getting into an area where you are surgically altering your body. And if you look at this one, it isn't straight. It isn't done well.
I'll take you guys out, and then you can see it.
It's crooked.
Really
It's hacked.
Yeah. And it's literally a sawing effect that they do when they do these. And they bleed and bleed and bleed. And we're looking at a healing time with some people that they're not close to normal for at least 2-3 months.
That almost looks like on our left side, it would be her right, that piece of the tongue that's hanging down there. It almost looks like a keloid kind of grown off, or it was just that crooked.
It looks like they started where her tongue piercing was and went from
out.
the middle.
Yeah,
down.
because it's wider.
Yeah.
And that, or it could be one of these people, I'll call you people, who would just stretch their tongue piercing out to like usually about 00 or more, whatever they could get. Then they would take dental floss wrap it through and tighten it over time, so it would literally cut through over like a
Slowly
6 month
cuts
period.
like a cheese cutter.
And see, the problem with tongue piercings is you have to keep them separated, because
heal back
otherwise your
together.
body
Grow
will
together.
always try to grow it back together. So when they do it, what they'll generally do is they'll scalpel it from the center backwards in a sawing motion. Then they have to stitch it on the inside, and you have to physically try to keep it apart during the healing process.
Joy.
I don't know about that.
While living off, soup.
And not everybody can move the sides independently and stuff. It's, it's only some people can.
Yeah, it's a learned thing.
Yeah. I've seen it done, but I don't like it. It looks fucking awful.
It's definitely something that I really wouldn't advise getting done unless you have done a couple of years of research.
And I'm sure, there's people even watching the show that have it done and have had a completely different experience, or, could contradict everything we're saying. But in general, do a lot of research before you start either chopping things off your body or chopping things in half. I mean, not only speech problems, but nerve damage, excessive bleeding, it turning out to look like that, it really never being able to be repaired ever.
There's one video that I think was one probably the most honest about having the experience, and I'll try to find it. I haven't seen it in years, but it was a girl. She talked about it, and she said she went to the emergency room, and like one of the interns was like, "Yep, another idiot college student came in and got their tongue split." So it's there obviously, and there are people that, this one in particular, that travel around the country. They're completely underground. Because he injected her with lidocaine before she did it, and that's illegal because he is not a medical professional, and he cannot prescribe that in the United States. It's a controlled substance.
Well, yeah, and you can't administer it either without a license.
You can administer. But
you can't give somebody a shot of lidocaine without being licensed.
No. That's the misconception. I've looked it up, and I've talked to. When I was investigated for practicing medicine without a license, I legally could inject it, right? But it has to be prescribed by a doctor or a licensed medical professional for them to get the injection. Does that make sense?
A doctor has to say it's okay for them to be injected with it.
By you.
Exactly.
No, you can't. I mean, it's not illegal for me to,
but I'm saying
inject
a doctor
somebody.
has to give you the prescription to get the stuff to get injected. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, you can't legally do that. Yeah. And the problem is that really extreme procedures like this, like we can really go down the dark rainbow and go into nullification and all that stuff. Cutting out sections of ears, turning you into a cat, that sort of stuff. You need anesthesia. There's no way you can go through that massive of a cut or et cetera. I'm sure there's somebody out there that does and doesn't have a problem with it. But
we'll say generally,
And the problem with things like tongue splitting is people think it's so common that they can just walk into their local studio down the corner and they're going to be like, yeah, I do that. And it's the same thing with, a lot of tattoos and et cetera is people don't do the research because they don't know better. It's not because they're idiots. It's just they're
just uneducated to it.
They don't know.
Yeah, just don't take the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way things are. Do we have anything else to...
You got anything else up there? Did we get through them?
Yep, that was all of them.
Awesome.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I think that was an interesting show. I had fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody else did. Thank you for watching. If you like this and you'd like to see more of these, please subscribe. Of course, always hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we post something. Also, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you liked it because we like it when you like it. We like it. We like it.
Hope you guys enjoy the new studio.
Yes.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
And if you haven't checked on our weekly videos, we got Brent in there now too.
Oh yeah, we got a
new artist.
Yeah, we got a new ship hand on the show and in the shop, and man, his work is dope. So check it out.
Yeah, give it a check.
Check out some of our weeklies.
And if you like merchandise, you like swag, you like t-shirts, you like fanny packs, you like phone cases, you like, I don't know, whatever. With stuff that relates to body piercing on it in tattooing. check out our merch store. Link is in the description. Also, you can find that on our website. Until next time, here's hoping all your piercings and tattoos heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, hope to see you for your body piercing or tattooing needs in the future. Have a good night, everybody.
Be nice to each other.
See ya.
Later, guys.
It's